Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to episode 8 of Sicko Soundoff. I tonight am your host, Anthony DiNardo. We will have two guests on tonight from our Discord because, as you guys know, if you want to get your chance to be on this show, definitely be in our Discord. We run the contest. We funnel our guests on that way. And tonight we have John and Nathan on as our two guests. Roki Sasaki signed tonight with the Dodgers. Shock, shock. So that's some news. I don't know what they're going to talk about. Hopefully it's not that because I'm going to get depressed. But before we go any further, BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from football to NBA, college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline is the number one sports betting source for the new year. From touchdowns to three-pointers and hat tricks, BetOnline has you covered on every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. So let's go ahead and kick this off. Ladies and gentlemen, we have John to kick things off for us. John, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming on. So, as we all know, you got something to say. I have no idea what it is. John, what is on your mind?
So my goal is to cheer you up based on what I just heard about you and the lack of enthusiasm about the Sasaki signing. And luckily, we, as a Pirates fan group, have a better position player group than the Dodgers, is what I'm going to try to sell you on tonight.
Reach deep down inside. Tell me.
Okay. So we all agree that 5 is greater than 4, right? 9 position players in the lineup. So my goal is to convince you that 5 of the Pirates players are better than the Dodgers players across the field on their end. So right away, I'm going to have to concede that the Dodgers probably are better with Mookie Betts than IKF.
Probably. It's
Probably.
close, but
Close.
I think they have the slight advantage. Yeah.
Probably going to have to concede Ohtani over Kutch.
Probably. Once again, close.
Close.
I mean, Kutch does have the more career WAR.
Yeah. I don't. That's probably actually kind of getting close if you combine his pitching and hitting.
Actually, it probably is. Yeah.
I'm going to have to concede Freddie Freeman over Spencer Horwitz. And
Yeah.
I'm going to have to concede Will Smith over Bart, Rodriguez, Davis. Although I do think with the depth behind at the number 2 catcher position, it wouldn't shock me if Bart has a similar year to last year if we had more WAR at the position. But I digress. So starting out with the easy ones, would you agree that Brian Reynolds is better than Michael Conforto?
Yeah.
The past 3 seasons, Reynolds has 9 B-WAR to Conforto's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Conforto was out for a while, but I just grabbed some numbers to try to back my case. Second, would you agree that O'Neal Cruz is better than Tommy Edman?
Yes.
Okay, so we got 2 down. Yeah, Cruz had 3.5 B-WAR last year to Edman's 0.9, so that's another slam dunk in our favor. Would you agree that Nick Gonzalez is better than Hyesung Kim?
I think. I mean, at this point in time, undetermined, right? I mean, that's a safe way to put it, right?
That's very fair.
Unknown, but I mean, there's a potential to absolutely be better.
Okay, so I have some numbers to back my favor. I compared the 2 KBO Kims, right? Hyesung to Hyesung. The OG Kim had a 900 WAR.
That'll be better.
The OG Kim had a 900 OPS in his last 2 KBO seasons and has a career OPS in the major leagues of 706. So that's a decrease. That's a drop of 22% coming from the KBO to the MLB.
Right.
New Kim has a 842 OPS in their last 2 KBO seasons. A same 22% drop would put him at a 651 OPS. Nick Gonzalez had a 709 OPS last season. He also posted plus metrics on defense. And if you look at OG Kim's numbers, his rookie season was a pretty steep adjustment period. So I think it's fair to say Also, projection-wise, Steamer projects Gonzalez for half more WAR, for what it's worth. So I'm chalking that up to the third position in our favor.
Okay. And again, like I think that's fair. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear the rest of this.
So Brian Hayes versus Max Muncy. The issue is it's not 2023 anymore. The last season did happen. Hayes did look rough. However, Muncy is 34 and is also potentially going to see a downturn in performance as well. All the reports out say that Hayes' back is healthy. Whether or not that's true remains to be seen. However, in the past 3 years, Hayes has 3 Fangraph WAR seasons to Muncy's 0. Hayes has 4 B-WAR seasons to Muncy's 0. So a case can be made that assuming Hayes is healthy, we might have the better third baseman overall.
Yeah. So let me add my thought on that, if you don't mind.
Of course.
I absolutely can see Hayes being the better player. I think Hayes has the ceiling to be better. Muncy has the floor. There's a lot of variability in Hayes. It really comes down to the health. And I think where we differ here is I'm worried about the health. I really am.
I mean, so am I.
And so like heading into this year, if I'm going to give my answer on that, I'm betting on Muncy. And I know he's 34, like you said, and let's go down, but he's still a good player. He's still a good player. Good in the lineup, passable defense. You know, like Hayes still with a bad back could be a better defender than Muncy, obviously, right? But like that's where Hayes is going to make his bread and butter. And if he's not healthy, the defense takes a slide as well as the offense. Where I'm positioned right now, until I start really seeing it this year, today I'm stamping it that Muncy's better.
That is totally fair, totally valid. I will admit that I was kind of reaching a little bit for this and manipulating
and
some
of course.
stats. But you do have to kind of ignore 2024 to get there. But also there is the aging factor and the fact that Hayes might actually be healthy.
Right. And again, I'm just going to say, you came at me telling me how you're going to convince me the Pirates lineup is better than the Dodgers. So I'm well aware there's going to be plenty of reaches. Hayes,
okay.
Perfect example.
And
by the way,
the last
I just want to say real quick, shout out to Bucko23 being the new member. Appreciate you.
Right, and the last one I got for you, Teoscar Hernandez over the last 3 seasons has put up 2.8 WAR per 150 games. And the guy that we're going to get to play right field, Taylor Ward, has put up 3.05 WAR per 150 games over the last 3 years.
I love how you qualify this as well as a player that's not even on the team.
I'm wish casting.
Pirates are better because this guy, right? I don't know.
Okay, how about I rephrase my argument to if we add one piece, we have a better lineup. If it's the right piece. You could also take out Ward and put in Luis Robert, Luis Robert. You could take out Ward and, I mean, you're probably going to run out of people there. But the point being, we have the chance, if we make the right move, to have, on paper, across the diamond, 5 better positions than the Dodgers do.
This is nuts. This whole thing is funny. You start off by saying it, that the Pirates are going to have more, and then you lead it with, well, 5 is better than 4. So because of this, I'm going to prove to you why, right? Not like we're just dismissing that the Pirates had the 3rd worst offense last year. The Dodgers had the number 1 offense in baseball, and you just convinced me that the Pirates have a better lineup than the Dodgers. I love it. It's terrible. It's garbage. You should be banned from the show forever. But I entertained it, and of course, and then you did it by also adding players that aren't even on the team yet. It reminds me. I don't know if you know Mitch Hedberg, the joke.
Yeah,
you know the house, right? The house has one of my bedrooms. Are you aware? That's like what you're doing here right now. It's like you have my right fielder, Angels. Are you aware? That's not how this works, John.
I know, and it might be a little bit wish casting, and I might have had to force a little bit too much to get there. But you would probably acknowledge that a trade for Taylor Ward isn't outrageous. There's still a bunch of reports that he's out there. There's still Anthony Santander and your Jerkson Profar that need to sign. If either of those two sign with the Angels, Ward's on the block. I can't imagine Charrington being so passive, knowing that his job is on the line. I feel like he has to take an aggressive step coming up. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. But also, they have the money to add that contract, no problem. He agreed for the ARB for $7.8 million. And we right now are what? Right at 80 approximately.
78.
Yeah.
Ish.
So we're gonna find, like, it would be a PR disaster if we start with a lower budget than that we ended last year. So we're gonna add about 10 million more, I would think, just based on what they've said. Some reports are that we have the capability to have $100 million budget. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I don't think adding Ward's a stretch. It shouldn't take away too much from the team this year. And then if that does happen, you can make a case on paper that 5 of the Pirates players are better than the guys across the country on the West Coast. But
John, you're nuts.
I had to be over the top optimistic because we got to balance it out.
Hey, listen, not that many Pirates fans are welcoming Roki. I think Roki was going to be a Pirate, right? But after the news of him being on the Dodgers, and here we go, the Dodgers are adding more people, right? Pirates Fest is tomorrow, right?
Can't wait.
Maybe we need some of this, right? The people that are going to Pirates Fest, maybe listening to this show right now, getting a little enthused. So they thank you, John.
Oh, I'm here to help.
You're completely nuts, but we thank you.
I mean, yeah, I probably am, but it's better and easier and more enjoyable to be optimistic than pessimistic.
Yeah, I get it.
I really didn't have anything else to talk about. I was kind of clueless as for a topic. Are you or anybody else from North Shore 9 going to the Pirate Fest?
Well, I was gonna ask, are you also? Yeah, Cody's going to be there. Ryan potentially will be there as well with his daughter. But Cody's going to be there. He's already in Pittsburgh, I believe, today, right now. He'll be creating some content, so he'll be there.
I was going to, but the friend that I was going to go with has to work.
Now, hold on. You didn't just come up on here to hype people up. Tell me how the Pirates have a better lineup than the Dodgers, and then not go to Pirates Fest tomorrow.
If I lived in the PA in the Pittsburgh area still, I would be there, but it's about a 6-hour drive for me. It's tempting because it's a 3-day weekend, and that's why I put the feelers out there looking to see if we can make it happen. But
6 is better than 3.
6 is more than 3. 6 if a 6-hour drive is much worse than a 3-hour drive.
No,
doesn't
matter. 6 is better than 3.
Using my logic against me. Jeez.
Yeah. Anyways, so I want to ask you this: what's one thing you maybe wanted to hear or see from Pirates Fest this weekend?
There's a big part of me that's very intrigued as to what the protest presence will be, in terms of are they going to be giving out sell the team T-shirts? Are there going to be signs? Is there going to be a question that gets through in the Q&A session that they might not really want to be asked? I'm curious as to whether the questions are going to be serious or softballs. Because I know that in years past, prior to COVID, the fans asked their questions. There wasn't a screening process. And last year was the first that there was a screening process, if I recall correctly.
Think so, right? Yeah.
I'm curious as to how the Q&A session goes. I'm curious to hear what's the plan in right field. Like I don't want to talk about right field anymore. Although I did pretty extensively today, but
but they weren't actually Pirates, so you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to hear Charrington say, as of now, the plan is Palacios on opening day. Like I want to see, like, if they are convinced, or if he'll say something like GM speak, we're looking to make moves, we're waiting for the right move. Depending on how they answer the question, would show a lot as to what they're actually actively trying to do. Yeah, I'm just waiting to hear all the sound bites, see how the Q&A goes. And I am a little bit curious about the protest because so far the numbers and the turnout have been relatively lame at every one of them. But this has been a thing that's been planned for an extensive period of time. If not now, then never, in terms of like a big turnout happening.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious as well. Again, just out of curiosity, because the contrasting, thing. I mean, the celebrating inside, the fans about Pirates, and you have people outside that are going to be protesting. So,
Yeah,
it's
and
interesting.
the two aren't mutually exclusive, right? Like I
Oh,
can
no.
want Bob to sell the team, but I can also hope and be optimistic about the product that's on the field, which is where I'm at. But yeah.
Cool. Well, John, appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you telling us how the Pirates are better than the Dodgers. Quoted.
Quotes.
John has said the Pirates are better than the Dodgers, hands down. They can have Roki. They need him.
They need him. Exactly.
That's right. That's right. So
Also,
again,
one
thanks for
other
coming
note
on.
before I jump off.
Yeah.
The whole Roki thing and that he signed there after the whole pitching development stuff, they haven't produced anyone except Walker Buehler since Clayton Kershaw was drafted. And all they're more of an elbow exploding factory than a pitching factory.
That's a fair criticism right now.
Yeah, but I digress. Have a great rest of your day. Great night. Good weekend.
You
Later.
as well. Enjoy your 3 days.
Will do.
All right. So that was John. Move over Cubs. I'm sorry. Move over Cubs on my mind. Thanks. Bridge of October. Move over Dodgers. The Pirates are coming to town. All right. So we have our next guest. We have Nathan on with us. What's up, Nate?
How are we doing tonight? That was quite the talk.
It was quite the talk. Can you top that?
So I was going to talk about something very briefly, but I wanted to bring up what I brought up to you to curse your brain before this to all the Pirates fans watching. A certain Blue Jays team today, and the fact I could see this happening. So the Pirates need an outfielder, clearly. We all know Ben Cherington only likes to work with the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Marlins and Padres, basically. A certain Blue Jays team added a guy by the name of Miles Straw today with international spending money to get Roki. They did not get Roki Sasaki. So to curse everyone's brains, I am predicting that big Ben Cherington will go out and get Miles Straw in the most Pirates fashion, and Miles Straw will be our starting outfielder next year. It's going to be Straw, Reynolds, and Cruz. Sorry, everyone.
So I told you before you came onto the show, I hate you. And I'm telling you live so everyone can hear it as well. I still hate you because you suggested this. And the reason why I hate you is because in the weird roundabout way, it makes sense.
See, I don't want it. I don't want it.
I can see it. Because the whole ironic thing about this is the Dodgers and the Blue Jays and the Padres were all in on Roki. And it's all about like, we need to get international money. And the Blue Jays made a big deal today. The Blue Jays traded and acquired Miles Straw. Basically, the salary dump for the Guardians. They said, you know what? We'll take on this salary. We'll take on this contract. Relieve him of you. He's a bad player. Give us some international money. That way we can get Roki. The Guardians said, please, thank you. And they accepted it. And they said, here's $2 million. And the Blue Jays said, yes, thank you. We're going to get Roki. And Roki said, sorry, I'm going to LA. And now the Blue Jays are stuck with Miles Straw. And I don't see them wanting to be, like that was going to be the cost of business to get Roki. So yep. I could see that the Blue Jays entertaining like, hey, we'll eat some money if someone wants to take him off our hands. Just give us some relief of the contract. You know what I mean? And here's Ben Cherington saying, oh, the Blue Jays, of course.
And the funny thing is, how did we get Horwitz through Cleveland and the Blue Jays?
Right. Right. Again,
teams are working all together.
That's right.
Sorry, everyone watching, to put that idea in your head. Just prepare yourselves for the inevitable. But I didn't really want to talk about outfield today as much as it's an issue because I was on here about a month or two talking about first base. Nathaniel Lowe's gone. So I didn't want
Right.
to talk about dreaming about players like usual, like we usually do on these shows and in the Discord saying, these are who I want to sign. And then they never happen. This is who I want to trade for. It never happens. I wanted to talk about, since Pirates Fest is tomorrow, you guys brought up funny questions they could ask or whatever. I will be there tomorrow, and I want to bring up, they actually did let fans ask questions in person last year. But what they would do is they would bring over the microphone, and the intern or whatever would ask you first, what are you asking them? Or whatever. But it was funny last year, Greg Brown on the stage legit asked the where's the money going question, and they said the actual question included, I think you will not read this out loud. And they actually said that sarcastically, like they read the whole question. So they actually asked some of the good questions, even though there's probably some better ones. But I sent a question to one of the people named Travis Williams, who we never talk about, I think, because he's probably the Pirates president in the last couple years. Well, basically since the last one we had. We never really hear much from him besides maybe once a year saying, here's some cheese curds. Here's some renovations to the stadium, Instagrammable moments.
Right.
So
About this time of year.
yeah, so like the question I asked him in the thing was practically, what do you even do? Like what are you at, like what are you doing here? So I've had this talk with my friends, and I'm proposing the idea of a renovation to PNC Park, a certain pirate ship to be put in PNC Park. Because I think you guys talked about this on Wednesday. If you're not going to spend the money on the players, how about make more Instagrammable moments and add a pirate ship to PNC Park? Just think about it. It could either go where they put the one beer bar above the bullpen, okay? You know how they raise the Jolly Roger above the batter's eye? How about raise the Jolly Roger on an actual pirate ship? If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can make a pirate ship happen in that stadium with an entire pirate village, okay, let's add some theming to PNC Park and add a pirate ship that shoots off shoot some fireworks off the pirate ship out of a cannonball thing when they hit a home run. All 50 of them, because we aren't going to hit a lot of home runs this year. But like Cruz and Reynolds are the only guys going to hit home runs, maybe Kutch, but that's about it. So you're not going to have to spend money on a home run cannonball budget, but why not add a pirate ship? Add something fun for the fans, guys. So that's kind of
100%. Like I'm totally buying in to this entire pirate ship, whether it's in the water or like inside the ballpark in some manner, right? The one fear I have with your suggestion is, with it being over the bullpen, how big will it be and how much is going to take away from the scenic view of downtown? That's my only concern about that. But again, like you can simply move it to another side, and the Jolly Roger moves from center field is essentially what's happening there. That's my only concern with your suggestion. But I think, we had hands around PNC a few years ago.
Yep.
I think maybe we start entertaining hands around PNC until we get a pirate ship.
See, I think another place you could put this said pirate ship is, they're probably one of my least favorite seating sections, just because I've only sat there a couple times. It's just Sunburn Central. It's not the lower bleachers. It's the upper bleachers in front of the Jumbotron. They just made it a bigger, slightly larger Jumbotron. Add a smaller type of pirate ship that includes bleachers on the pirate ship. We could do that as well. Make it so you can sit on them. Have like club seats on the pirate ship. How many birthday parties do you think they would be able to sell saying, your 5-year-old's birthday party could be on the pirate ship? You could have pup night on the pirate ship. Like
Nathan's like literally suggesting a plank, like people that sit on the plank.
I have thought about this for years. This has been a joke with my friends and my dad, especially, saying, when are they going to get a pirate ship? I'm playing Madden or whatever, and I see the Tampa Bay Bucks have a pirate ship. I'm watching these live. The fans love it. They sit on this pirate ship. It's like all you can eat food on the pirate ship. Dress like a pirate on the pirate ship, whatever. Theme the park. If we're not going to add the players to add a fun baseball product, why not make the sitting down watching the baseball that stinks a fun product? Honestly, the pirate ship. I have some of my friends are engineers going into engineering. We already have this plan in full force. We're going to make this.
I'm interested.
We are going to make.
I want to see this final product.
If if I have to watch DJ Stewart play right field for probably 15 games, because I can see it happening, because I said it in the Discord and I posted on Twitter a while ago, or yesterday when it happened, I can easily see DJ Stewart, going back to the outfield for a second here, playing up to 15 games this year, especially if they don't get an actual outfielder. Like, I really wasn't high on Taylor Ward for the longest time just because of his age. I get it, but now it's kind of like they need some power. Might as well add a Taylor Ward. If they don't do anything like add him or some of these Giants guys people are talking about, like Yastrzemski, I think Lamont Wade Jr. has been another name people are bringing up. If they don't do anything like that and trade for someone or even sign a Verdugo or anything, we're probably going to see DJ Stewart, who they signed to a minor league deal, a mix of him, Palacios, and Sawinski. And hypothetically, I think it was Hiles or Stumpf posted about how they don't think Sawinski will be up. I think it was Hiles in his prediction saying Sawinski will not be on the opening day roster. If he's not on the roster and they don't get an outfielder, it will probably be Palacios and DJ Stewart as your opening day outfield tandem. And that, I think, is awful. Because, like, I know Josh Palacios is the big, like, vibes guy. Like, I get it, but I don't think he's valuable enough to have on the major league roster. And I like Josh Palacios, but when I'm looking at what other teams have, they would not roster a Joshua Palacios just because of, hey, he's fun. The vibes are awesome. And I get it, but this outfield situation is just kind of depressing because I think we're all waiting for something to happen. And I was really I don't want Grichuk. I don't want Verdugo. I don't want Austin Hayes. And now it's kind of like we have to probably settle for all those three guys. And I would rather have the Randall Grichuk who only can hit really one side of the plate.
Okay.
And then we're stuck with something else. So
I was going to ask you. Yeah, because like of those names, I personally would rather not have Verdugo.
Yeah.
But I think we're coming
agree.
to the point where, like, Verdugo might be the best option that remains.
Yeah.
Which is not a good thing, right? But he might be the best option that remains because there's not much left. But like a Verdugo, a Grichuk, like I mean, I like him. It's just like it's very limited in how much impact he has because he's gonna be a platoon and the wrong side of the platoon. But for that part of the platoon, he's a weapon for sure.
Yeah, I think with Verdugo, I know some fans would actually be excited about, like, we joke about Pirates Facebook compared to Pirates Twitter fans. Anyone, like Instagram fans as well, like the comment sections are completely different things. It's hilarious. I go on Instagram and Facebook, everyone's like, please sign Verdugo. Please, we need an outfielder. I go to Twitter, everyone's like, no Verdugo, please. We don't like,
Right.
That's not good enough, which I agree with. But with Alex Verdugo, it's kind of, I don't think he's I know. I don't think he is, you can only talk about a pirate ship for like 5 minutes. With Alex Verdugo, going back to him, I don't think he is a solid option to be an everyday guy because they would probably throw him every day or try to, especially if they're paying him the money he's probably wanting.
Right.
And with him, I get the argument with the whole he's leaving the Yankees type of thing because I feel like any player that shouldn't be in that market is performing bad in that market. He could be good. Because for example, my uncle's a Tigers fan, and they're kind of in the same boat as we are, but I feel like they're doing it a lot better. They're willing to spend the money. They at least made the playoffs. They got Gleyber Torres. He was the same way. He was like, I'm not really high on Gleyber Torres, but I think the Tigers are a great opportunity for him because he's probably going to play more than a Javi Baez. He's going to learn from a guy who's won Gold Gloves elsewhere. He's going to learn from these guys who can hit. That's the only thing that kind of makes me intrigued by Verdugo, even though I'm not intrigued at all. That's the only thing I would be like, kind of in my brain, like, okay, maybe it's just a Yankee Stadium thing. But it worries me if he struggled in Yankee Stadium, how's he going to hit at PNC Park? And we all joke that Pittsburgh's like an easier market to play in. The media in Pittsburgh's cutthroat. It really is. We all saw last year how quick they turned on Rowdy Tellez for saying, we don't do that here. Like people that didn't care about baseball were booing like the Pittsburgh kid, David Bednar, out of a ballpark. The Pittsburgh media market is not an easy market to play for with how small it is because they will tear you down. We see it with the Steelers all the time. Steelers, for example. If a player does something wrong, they're kicked out of town practically. But yeah, the whole outfield situation, it's kind of sad. It is drawn out for this long. And
It's a
it
bit
sucks.
worrisome.
And whenever you guys were at where the meetings were, I think it was Dallas. Charrington said in an interview, we're looking to add to the outfielder group. The only outfielders they have added, if you want to count Kutch, even though he's going to DH because he's played outfield, which I don't think he will, and DJ Stewart.
Right.
I think that's the only two in the top of my mind, and only one of them has played outfield lately. And I don't see
I wouldn't
DJ
count
Stewart
Kutch as an outfielder at this point.
Yeah, and I don't see DJ Stewart as a guy that I want to watch play more than 5 to 10 baseball games. Maybe pinch hit or be a backup, sure. But like,
depth,
I don't know.
That's it. But because he's depth because you've added another right fielder and you still have a Palacios and hopefully a Sawinski that rebounds. Like that's like an insurance on your insurance policy.
Yeah.
But the worry is he might actually have some play time.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like with the Pirates, it sucks to see like they are close. They are very close to doing something in this division. And when I look at what this division has done, the two teams that have done the most have honestly been the Cubs because they got Kyle Tucker. I think that's the best move out of this whole division. The Reds have been making small moves, and their moves have been kind of confusing, like Gavin Lux, and they're already loaded up infield with kind of clogged like ours right now with so many, just hog them all these random middle infielders type of things. And then I'd put like we've done kind of more than the Brewers and Cardinals. With the Brewers, they've
Cardinals
only added,
for sure.
Yeah, the Brewers only added, I think, Nestor Cortez. That's about it. Like we've only added Horwitz and brought back Kutch. But like how I have this division going is it's going Cubs. I still think the Brewers are still going to be second place, first or second, like always. And right now, the Reds and Pirates are fighting for third and fourth. Because I honestly hope the Cardinals play up to what they're looking like being at fifth, but I could easily see the Cardinals somehow jumping up to second or third place. Right now, it's the Cubs division, but like watching these teams just kind of sit there and do nothing like the Pirates is kind of being like, what are we doing? Are we not going to get an outfielder? Is Ben Cherington content with going into his probably final year being like, you know what? If I'm getting fired, I told my friends this jokingly, like, if I knew I was getting fired and kind of being held hostage in my job, why not screw him all over and being like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to sit here. Like, if you know he's getting fired, why not get rid of him now? Like, honestly.
Yeah.
If he knows he's getting fired, why would you want to add to what you can do? I get maybe saving your job, but if he knows he's fired if he's not making the playoffs, I don't think this team's making the playoffs because there's other teams in the NL besides this division that are way better in this wild card race. The Diamondbacks got Corbin Burns. The Padres have a great lineup. The Phillies, Mets, Braves, all those teams are better on paper than the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates just make random things happen with the power of friendship, practically. That's what it is. That's how we're going to beat the Dodgers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm with you. Like, that's the one thing. That's what really bothers me is there is opportunity. Now, of course, the Brewers are the reigning first place team. And I understand they lost their Adames, right? Big contract to the Giants. That's a blow. But they made a trade. And I mean, I think trading Devin Williams for Nestor Cortez is really going to work out in their favor. And they have, God, what's that pitcher coming back this year, too?
Woodruff.
Yeah, Woodruff coming back. Like, I don't know if they're really going to fall off too much, and Yelich hopefully being a full season of health on his plate too. Like they had the potential, like you mentioned, one or two. The Cubs are making progress for sure. Churio could take off this year too. So like they're 1-2 and I'm with you. The Reds have talent. Like I believe in the talent of that team, but they haven't done a whole lot. I do like the trade they made with the Royals, adding Gavin Lux. It's more talent and it's like proven talent. Like Gavin Lux isn't the guy that you thought he was going to be as a prospect, but he's good. He's solid enough. And to add another player to give you insurance, to give you, stability there, like that's not a bad thing. But they haven't done the move. It's not like, okay, we're here. They got a manager. They got a Hall of Fame manager, and that could help out some. But they haven't made like the move to say, you know what, we're here. It's not like they haven't done the Kyle Tucker like the Cubs just did. So I'm with you that the Pirates and Reds seem to be fighting, but it's to me 1 and 2 is up here and 3 and 4 is down here. Like there's a big gap between those 4 teams, and then the Cardinals, I think, they're headed for the basement unless there's some devil magic, but I don't think they have the talent to get anywhere to 1 and 2. They might just be fighting for third at best, as it stands right now. And I don't think they really have a desire to. I mean, they literally like came out and said, we're not going for it this year. Like we're looking like our farm is decimated. We're looking to more or less rebuild. So I don't think they really have plans and got the effort and try to make it to the playoffs this year.
And what's crazy about the Cardinals situation right now is they're trying to get rid of Nolan Arenado, but they just can't do I don't know what's going on with that. It's like every day.
Want to go where they want to send.
Yeah, it was like I think a month or two ago, like before the meetings, it was like, oh, Houston has a trade for him, but then he's like, I don't want to go play in Houston.
Right.
It seems like Boston's the only place that wants him where he'd be fine with, but I don't know what's taking so long with that one. Like it's kind of weird how long it's taking. And that's the whole thing with like the no trade clauses that get annoying. It's like, okay, we want to trade you. You're fine with getting traded. Here's the teams that have the offers. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to play there. Like it gets to the point where I think he's still going to be a Cardinal next year. And it might hurt them, but it might hurt the other teams in this division when they play them. And that's why I think the Cardinals could also be fighting for third place, honestly, as much as I don't think they'll be good. I just, it's up to see if the Pirates and Reds can take that jump, because I think they can be up there with the Brewers. I really think they can. It's just the Brewers always make things work out. They'll probably make Nestor Cortez a monster because they always fix pitchers. It's a pitching factory in Milwaukee, people like to say. And honestly, like the Cubs, even though I really like their rotation, I like what they have. I like Imanaga. I like all these other guys they've had, even Kyle Tucker. And they figured out that arbitration, I think it was the other day. I think we all know the Cubs, and they can be subpar sometimes. They sometimes won't live up to the hype. I think that Cubs team should on paper win more than 87 games, but I wouldn't be shocked if they, go on a stretch of subpar baseball or whatever, and they end up with like 82, 83 wins. That's how this division is.
And like that is baseball, but they've done the job to set them up right now to be a team that contend for first place.
Yeah.
And that's just the problem with the Pirates. Like, I just don't think they're doing enough to do that.
And that's
like they're not doing enough this offseason to say like, hey, we've put this team in a place to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's just like my problem. And I think you agree where we're at with this team. But again, like going back to the Brewers, when they were deciding on what to do with Corbin Burns and they decided to pull the trigger and trade him, it was almost like, oh, well, you know what? Maybe it's time for the Brewers to rebuild. Like maybe this is the sign, like a retool, not so much a rebuild, but maybe they should go out and retool now because they lost Corbin Burns. And how you like going to come back from that? And what they do, they went out and won the division.
Yep.
So it's like with them trading Devin, Williams now and getting Nestor Cortez, I look at that and say, you know what? I mean, this just might be like the good deal they need to make. Losing Devin Williams is hurtful for that bullpen, but they got a starter, and now he's going to be in this division and not the AL East division and pitching in Yankee Stadium. He could be a pretty damn good pitcher for them. So like, I like that move for them a lot, actually.
Yeah. And that,
to me, that's a good baseball move.
And look, it was a great move. It was a very underrated trade, in my opinion. Like, not a lot of people are talking about it ever since. Like, the Brewers can get a pitcher they can fix in that rotation, who I don't think's honestly that bad of a pitcher.
And then, I don't think there's much fixing that needs to be for him either. Yeah.
I think it's just Yankees fans upset like he allowed that home run or whatever. Like MLB fans in general, like casual ones. And like the Yankees get a very solid reliever that they can use to close games. Now, when I'm looking at that team in general, like that was a Brewers team, did all that, won the division, and was a Pete Alonso home run not happening away from making the division series. And that could have turned into a championship series. Or like, if Devin Williams doesn't throw a bad pitch, who knows what we're talking about the Brewers right now. That might be a team that might give the Dodgers an issue, especially with that pitching they have. And we saw how the Dodgers started against the Padres in the second series. They played horribly, and they got lucky with the Padres bats just disappearing. But it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow at Pirates Fest. I will be there. It's going to be interesting.
Good. Cool.
Favorite part's the Q&A. I just want to hear what they say. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, Nathan, I appreciate the talk. Hopefully we'll talk sometime again about this outfield, and it's
Give us
much
the
more
pirate
positive.
ship. Give us the
It's gonna
pirate
we'll have
ship.
John back on because we're talking about this new outfield that we got and how he is better than the Dodgers lineup. And we'll have you on to talk about him as well.
Just get the pirate ship, please.
Pirate ship. I'm all for the pirate ship. All right, Nathan. Well, thanks again. We'll see you later. All right, everyone. So that wraps up our Sicko Soundoff for tonight. We appreciate John. We appreciate Nathan. Both are crazy in their own ways. But yeah, so for all those going to Pirates Fest tomorrow, enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Let everyone know what happens. I'm interested. Again, I've mentioned before, I've never been to a Pirates Fest, but I think it's a great event for everyone. And let us know what happens. So Cody will be there. If you see Cody, give him a big high five, I guess. He'll be doing some content. I think Ryan will be there as well at some point with his daughter. But until next time, we'll see you guys later. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.